Hello to anyone who is watching this. You're watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online. It's pretty fab. Um, you can find all the stuff the Gauntlet does at gauntlet-rpg.com, where you'll find stuff they do, like blogs and forums. There's the zine that the Gauntlet puts out called Codex, which usually contains supplements to existing games and original games in itself. There's also the podcasting network that Gauntlet does. There's a new episode of the Gauntlet podcast that just came out. There is the Gauntlet Community Open Gaming Weekend, which is this weekend for anyone who's watching. Which basically like it's a small mini con where folks from outside of Gauntlet can come and play games with us. Such games as The Final Rogue, a Batman reskin of The Final Girl, where instead of playing victims of a thriller as a what do you call it, the
Slasher.
slasher, yeah, the slasher horror thriller, instead you are villains who are going to become the victims of Batman. So that's gonna be fab. That's this weekend, starting on Thursday the 25th. um but there's also the Gauntlet calendar, to which this game and many other games are arranged. Well, I say arranged. It took a while to get us here, but this is the third session of Heart, the City Beneath, a game by Grant Howitt and Christopher Taylor. You might remember them from Spire RPG, which is a game of industrial fantasy punk drow revolutionaries trying to take down a corrupt Alfear authority. Well, Heart's a bit different from that. It is instead a horror dungeon crawler going down under the earth into the city beneath, which has been influenced by a wound on the skin of reality, the eponymous Heart itself. It's a strange place where strange people go to fulfill strange desires. Who are these people? Where they're called Delvers, and they are the player characters. But first, let's kind of like just meet, just re-meet our our players. So I would like folks to just introduce themselves. We'll get the characters later because it's been a while. So if you want to introduce yourself with like your name and pronoun, and if you want to shout out anything on the internet that you think it's cool, that's cool, or maybe something you're involved with, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to. If you don't have any, that's also perfectly fine. So yeah, let's just start with players. Let's go left to right on the character keeper. So Brandon, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Brandon. I've been playing with the Gauntlet since the middle of last year. Having a lovely time, and I love the twisted background of Heart, and have been enjoying it very much.
Well, I'm glad you've been enjoying it. Up next, Bodhi, why don't you go next?
Hi, I'm Bodhi, they, them pronouns, and yeah, also enjoying, looking forward to getting back into Heart.
Heck yeah. And last but not least, Jake, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, I've mastered the microphone. I'm Jake. I use he, him pronouns. This is my first Gauntlet game, and having done my best to utterly sink it last week with technical issues, looking forward to getting back into it this time and delving into the heart a little bit further.
Glad everyone's here. We'll be tied us with those technical issues, but we're here and we're here to play. But before we get into it, I do want to talk about the safety tools that we're using for this game. First off, we talked about it off recording, but we do have a suite of lines and veils. For those who don't know, lines are like things that like won't be crossed, just won't show up on the fiction. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not gonna like concentrate on it. Like it either happens off screen or gets like a sentence or two, or the camera just doesn't focus on it. Um, and there's also stuff that can be marked as ask first, which basically means that if we are going to introduce them into the story that we're telling, oh well, we better make sure the table knows. And so the table kind of like understands what we're going with, and we can consent or not, we can consent to whether we want to or not want to have that element or not in the story. There's also a script change, which is kind of like a series of commands that we use to like help control fiction. So I'm gonna highlight three commands. First, there's rewind, which you call for if you want to like go back and sorry, I'm just getting a message. I should close that. When you rewind, you back up to a specific point in the scene and do the scene over again, avoiding whatever issue led to the rewind, trying a different way. Fast forward is and to clarify some bits about that, it could be like anything in the scene that makes you feel uncomfortable. It could be a name, it could be like just the general tone of the scene, or even like the scene itself. You don't have to explain why you're uncomfortable with it. I might ask some questions about why about what exactly it is that we're trying to avoid. But if a rewind is called, we respect that. We'll try again. When you fast forward, which is the other command, and you fade to black in advance time as needed to avoid content elements of play, or just to move forward in time. Like it's kind of part of the veils thing, where like if we're gonna go, if a thing that's gonna happen that we don't need to linger on, we can call for a fast forward, and we will move on. And there's pause, which you can call for pausing the game if you need a break for any reason. Maybe there's an intense scene that you need to like take a breather. Maybe you're looking for some clarity or a discussion about the game or content. Maybe you need to take like a bio break. It's kind of part of the open door policy we have in the gauntlet, where if you feel you need to step away from the table at any time, whether because there's an emergency to take care of, or you're more tired than you thought, or you just want to take a break now, you can call for pause at any time. Um, um, so that's our safety tools. Now back to heart. So um, when we last left our delvers, they had been contracted by a drow nobleman by the name of Asher Malperdy to go help him look for his sister, who he believes has been ensorcelled by the witches of the heart, the witches of Hallow, um, to come down here to Heart. Our boy Asher is very much a city boy who um, has done well for himself, um, and so is quite unused to Heart. Um, we went through quite a number of adventures. We got to the big temple of the moon beneath. There was a big wolf bat that blinded one of y'all. There are some harrowing adventures in some rather crappy, cramped tunnels. Some discoveries about bees involved. But let's let's remember who these delvers are who went through these adventures. Let's go back left to right on the character keeper. So Brandon, tell us about your cleaver, and is there a highlight from the past sessions you want to shout out about your character?
Um, my Lynesse is a cleaver, which means a hunter. And she is called to the heart by the heartbeat in order to hunt and kill the fabulous beasts of the heart's blood. She does this not out of malice or treasure hunting, but out of love, a duty to the heart itself. It produces these creatures, and it is a sacred right to find them and to kill them. And in this way, it perpetuates the cycle of the heart's blood. And she has pursued this as in particular towards the beginning, when you encountered a fabulous bat creature who's with many eyes, that was one of the very first things that we found. And she was able, with the help of others, to strike it down and to take something from it. She has also seen an image of the Drow's sister Iona, and spoken to her in the witches, and she is well and is involved. I saw this in a vision of her, and so we know that our quarry is healthy, although she may not desire to come back with her brother. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Once you get to Hallow, or well, we'll see if you get to Hallow. Well, you'll probably get to Hallow. Well, we'll see. Up next, Bodhi, why don't you tell us about our deep apiarist, which, for those who don't know, is a big fan of bees.
Yes. I'm playing Dolwyn, as Leandro said, a deep apiarist, hence my background. And Dolwyn isn't in the heart because they want to be in the heart. They're in the heart because they want to get beneath the heart. The heart is damnably messy and imperfect, but they know that beneath the heart lies the great hive, that the greatest hive, that a perfect golden center to the world. And so Dolwyn has to find out everything they can about the deepest levels of the hive in order to get the deepest levels of the heart in order to get through those deepest levels where no one's ever found, but Dolwyn knows. He does know that there is that perfect center beneath. And unfortunately, Dolwyn is currently in despair because last time they tried to commune with the hive of that was living inside a deceased deep apiarist, and was spurned by these bees and can't understand it because they're the chosen one to find the greatest hive. So the being spurned by bees doesn't make any sense, and they have kind of drifted into despair, which mechanically means that I lose access to the advantage of some of the advantage of my occult powers.
Yeah, it has denied you the entire domain. We'll see if we can get that fixed in Redcap Grove. We're at it. And last but not the least, Jake want to tell us about our dead walker, who certainly has been incredibly unlucky every time we've seen them.
Nekkra is a knoll of science and researcher into the secrets of the unknown, and most particularly the relationship between life and death. And I think used to think he had it all together, used to think he knew what he was doing, and just there were just those few more steps of putting two and two together that would lead him inexorably to defeating death, even if an accident along the way has led him with a physical manifestation of death accompanying him everywhere. But having come to the heart to try and seek out these last secrets of mortality, I think he's found it a more chaotic, unpredictable, and sort of lawless in the natural laws sense place than he perhaps expected. He has, if anything, sort of latched onto Dolwyn's search for enlightenment and Lynnesse's clear sense of purpose. as much as the paying job that is represented by their drow companion, as just people to try and work out what's what, and has recently sort of tentatively allied himself with the Church of the Moon Beneath, in a sort of vague assurance that perhaps if he can do their bidding to dispatch some druids, or at least deal with rather some druids, he might be let into some secrets. He's desperate for truth and not sure where to look for it, and not even really sure what he's looking for.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when people go to the heart. Come to heart. You know, some lack of stability in their immediate life. So let's see where that takes them. So last time you were jumping down from having crawled down these god awful tunnels, and you're on like in the opening towards Redcap Grove when you hear gunshots and a howling horrible sound, if I remember correctly. And y'all jump down. I think you when you jump down, you land on like wet, muddy ground, and the first thing you'll notice is like there's only three of you. Your fourth companion, Nyark. I can't do.
Nyark.
I'll call him. Yeah, Nyark. Yeah. It's nowhere to be seen. If you look up from the opening where you left, you will see suddenly that the opening that you came through is now gone, like it was never there. Like suddenly it's just complete blank stone, as if like a tunnel was never there in the first place. So that's not great. And when you look up, I think you notice that the stink of this place is like it feels humid. It feels like overgrown. It's quite dank. And the first thing you'll notice when you look forward is like you see like the ruins of this like great cathedral. Ruins because like only the walls are kind of like left standing. You'll see like the roof has kind of like rotted down. And you can see like these great like buttresses and like spires kind of almost constrained by like the cave wall around. It's weird how it's almost like it just kind of like was constructed here and almost kind of like was hemmed in by the walls. Also, it doesn't help that like great big fungal spores, blooms are sprouting out of like cracks from around the cathedral, like these pulsing, oily looking red like mushrooms, kind of like just um just oozing out of the architecture. Also, I should clarify, there's actually 4 people who came down here where there should have been 5, because again, your friend your friend and person who hired you to come here, Asher Malberdy, is of course there. God, he's so useless, even I forgot about him. Poor dear. And yeah, so that's kind of like that's Redcap Grove, as at least you can tell like, oh shit, that's probably Redcap Grove. The other thing you'll notice is like there's this flickering, horrifying kind of hard to tell like indistinct creature, kind of like swinging its like many limbs in front, and you can hear some rather like scruffy voices going, drive him back, and so like, there's some bangs, and then you see like there's like a burst of fire as like someone has clearly like, thrown like a Molotov cocktail of sorts. Obviously not what it's called in this universe. I don't know if Molotov existed in this universe. But yeah, it's like it's hard to tell what this creature is because it's flickering in this kind of like almost unreal kind of state. Like it's like a black and white silent film that's like you ever seen like a GIF that has like too few frames per second in it? It's kind of like that. It's like this. Hold on, let me check your lights and veils just to make sure I don't nothing on bugs. Cool. It's like a big horrible centipede. That's kind of like rearing up, and it's like spitting these like what looks like globules of more of that static um at like the front door of the of Redcap Grove. Um so that's what you see. That's what's greeting you.
I currently have the minor fallout of Hexeye from my just general terrible luck last session, as part of which my vision is swimming and I'm beginning to perceive worlds layering one on top of the other. Just in case that makes any difference to how I perceive this strange being that seems to be flicking between realities.
Oh, that's great. That's lovely. Thanks for reminding me. I guess I remembered you could ask. You can see something useful once per session. I forgot the
Oh, yes, that's right.
flickering. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Yeah, it's so what I described. I think you are seeing that. I'm not going to make it so debilitating that you can't completely do anything, but I think you feel that like, and you can count like almost in intervals of nearly 30 seconds. um it's like the world shakes and you'll see this cathedral is brand new. The world shakes and you'll see this cathedral is on an ocean of blood traveling the stars. The world shakes and you'll see that this cathedral is like was rotted down to the bare bones, and you can see this like horrible shambling um 15-foot tall creature munching on something in the middle. The world shakes and you're back here with your friends. I think the main anchor you have is that if you see your friend, well, okay, maybe friends is a strong word for that. If you see your colleagues, you're in the right your right spot. And I think throughout this time, this flickering reality shifting creature is also a constant. um the thing is, like, your friends don't stay whenever your reality vision shifts. The creature does. So watch out for that. Of course, the fun thing is that because you're a dead walker, there is one place you can go to, which is like the equivalent of purgatory, which is the gray. So watch out for that. um cool. So yeah, y'all hear shouts coming from inside the cathedral. And you can see like gunfire and shouting as they're trying to drive this creature back. The other thing I'll add is that like there are quite a number of corpses where the creature is like standing. Um, um, not nearly, not like up to double digits, but you can see like there's quite a number of fallen bodies there. So uh, so that's a tableau that you see in Redcap Grove. Um, what do you do?
Oh, I have no particular inclination to assist these people. They seem to take exception to deep apiarists. And besides, everything that I could do would make it clear that I am a deep apiarist. That seems like a spectacularly bad idea right now.
If they have trouble with you, they will have trouble with me. I am. I'm going to try to. I'm going to spot an advantageous vantage point for either attacking or for getting into the cathedral without being harmed, using my hunter's eye.
Ooh, let me check. Where is it? One space situation. When you and your allies are in danger, point out a tactically useful element of the landscape. The first time an ally interacts with the element, they roll with mastery under subsequent action. Cool. So what you'll notice is that like well, the ground is quite muddy. It's honestly kind of a disgusting place to be in. One of those days when you're like, I don't know if you ever end up in the countryside when it's muddy and it's just rained, so it could be worse, but it's not great. Like, you're worried your shoes are gonna fall apart walking through the mud. Do not recommend. I think you notice that, like, this mud is not only just, unpleasant to be in, it's kind of treacherous, and you can see like the creature is almost kind of like trying to be careful as it swings around. Like, it's standing still at like at the moment, but you can tell that like its footing is like precarious in this mud. So, Lynesse, you can happily point that out to your allies in case they come to danger, whether it be this creature or some druids. Uh,
And you said that there were mushrooms here.
yes, I think the mushrooms you can see are kind of like oozing out of the cathedral's like cracks. In fact, it would what you think is like the roof, it might just be a giant red cap um, um
Oh,
blooming out of but there's like but that doesn't mean, but there's other like flora kind of inside of it. It is mostly
but
mushrooms.
this has to be a resource. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
yes. So I will eat some of it.
Okay. Okay, cool. That's good. All right. So let me double check. Um, tough or noxious materials might require an endure plus curse check to avoid costing yourself harm. Yeah, these are big hallucinogenic mushrooms. There's like all sorts. I want to say it's not just red mushrooms. There's like weird mushrooms are like in the shape of like a heart, like an anatomic heart. It's like, what the fuck. There are mushrooms that are shape almost like they're trying to become the shape of a star. There are mushrooms like are rebelling against the shape of a mushroom. But absolutely you can eat them, but they are hallucinogenic, so I will do need you to roll an endure plus cursed check on this.
So it's
So
one die for free,
mhm,
one die for the domain, one die for the skill.
yes,
Yes.
uh,
Okay.
3d10. Great. Love that. Love that we're all standing here watching this centipede creature and Lynesse is
And
like scuffing
so
down some
the
mushrooms.
highest die, yes, which is a
Yes.
9.
9. All right, cool. So on a 9, you do it, and there are no like, there's a success. There's like no you take no stress. So I
Yes.
think, what's the
I
vision
have
you
a
see
cast
before you?
iron. I have a cast iron stomach. What
Hell
is the
yeah.
vision I see before me?
Yeah,
Um,
before you, that you can like completely rest control before like it doesn't overtake you. You do see a vision, but like it won't like impair you and you'll go away very quickly. What's like a flash that you see?
um, oh, just a vision of anything? I'll take
Yeah.
one of the images of my dream.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
uh,
Kind of ask you this so I know what it is, so you can fulfill that deed.
yes. Uh, I'll say that I see an image of a beautiful woman with scarred hands. Um, she is working on a delicate tracery of some kind. Perhaps she is weaving a cloth. But her hands, although they are nimble, they are scarred as if they have been broken or burned terribly. Um, and she has been through some awful ordeal, had her hands put in a fire or been tortured, um, or some awful thing. So that's what I see.
Cool. Yeah, but you do I think that vision fades almost immediately as it came. It's so vivid that like you remember it, but it comes as it went, as it goes. And so, having eaten the mushrooms of Redcap Grove, you you gain access to the domain of this place, which is wild. Since you already have that domain,
I get a knack.
you get a knack for this situation, which is great. Lynesse is very specced out. I just noticed this. Like, whoa, you got a lot of stuff going. How did that happen?
She just hit a bunch of necks.
Yeah, hit a bunch of beats.
So, if we have to go into the cathedral, this creature, we're going to have to either evade or fight this thing.
Yeah, like you can't see even through the murk and the honestly the funky smell of it all. You can't see a way past the cathedral. I mean, you can try to search. The thing is, you can't see from where you are right now. There's like certain ways if you don't want to deal with this creature, you can look to see if there's another way. You can enter the gray, or there's different paths. Like the creature's here, but you don't have to fight it. You want to make friends with it? I'm not gonna stop you.
Nekkra,
Oh yeah, I was going to say I think we have a disagreement within the party about whether we want to fight it or not. So I think Nekkra might have the casting vote here.
Yeah, Nekkra can see this creature on every plane that he is experiencing, and it's one of the very few constants there is, and that says to him, avoid. And Nekkra is kind of automatically, instinctively almost starting to reach for the grey as a sort of place of hiding away from this, and sort of takes a handful of each of your clothing in his hands and goes, come with me into the grey. We'll find a way through or a way around. I don't like that creature. I have no wish to encounter it further. Will you come with me? Will you hold it off?
Is that
Asher
a heartsblood creature?
First off, Asher hugs Nekkra immediately to say, yes, I will come with you. I don't want to deal with this thing. And Lynesse,
is it a creature of the heartsblood?
Can
I tell?
Let me double check, because like there's a difference between a heart's blood creature and someone who's just blooded by the heart. Yeah, there is a difference. I'll need to double check the adversaries. I should be doing this. You can tell that it's definitely connected to the heart. Like it's definitely of the heart. Whether it is a creature, that's a weird thing, because like that bat thing you meant, that was definitely a creature. It's like what we'll determine as like having like an animal kind of mind. This creature is the most you can tell is like it is from the heart, but it doesn't look like any heart's blood creature you've hunted. It feels more unique than that.
Yes. I'm asking because whether it seems to fit my devotion.
I mean, you don't have to enter the grey with them if you want to fight. But the thing is, you're going to be fighting this thing by yourself. But that's up to folks. Dolwyn, do you want to go with Nekkra? Dolwyn,
will you help me?
I think that Dolwyn normally would, but Dolwyn is despairing, and the grey seems rather attractive to Dolwyn right now. It matches their current mood. So I think Dolwyn is kind of rather passively kind of allowing themselves to be led into the grey by Nekkra.
The best way to overcome despair is to triumph, not to flee.
Dolwyn doesn't respond.
Lynesse, might you be prevailed upon to perhaps allow this creature of the heart to enjoy the caresses of these fire-throwing, hapless idiots who are currently engaged with it, and perhaps we could return and mop up whomsoever remains. I'm sure you can still eat some of it when we come back through, and maybe they'll have weakened it down a little.
I'm not a scavenger.
Oh no!
My purpose is not to find leftover bits of dead heart creatures and eat them. I kill them from devotion.
I'm terribly sorry to have misread your appetites. They struck me as being perhaps more practically inclined than they were. I see now that it was entirely devotion. But if I'm honest with you, I do not wish to tangle with this creature. Perhaps we could honor it on the way back through.
I doubt we'll be coming back through here if looking up our method of ingress is gone. If we're going our way out, is likely to find another path.
I guess my objection is less to fighting this creature than discovery by the druids. So if we can think of a way in which one can be achieved without risking the other, then I may be able to help you, Lynesse.
I don't think the druids are coming out anytime soon.
Well,
they appear to be hunkered down inside their fortress.
Could be to our advantage, if or at least to the advantage of the moon beneath. Who, actually, sorry, Leandro, just to check. Well, am I right in thinking that the Church of the Moon Beneath wanted the druids pretty much gone?
Yes.
Or have I misremembered that? They want the druids out of the picture.
Honestly, it's been long enough that I'm going to say yes. Yes.
Oh, well.
Whoever's watching this, who probably just watched maybe the previous session, probably knows differently, but we'll go with that.
Could be to our advantage to allow them to allow this peculiar creature to perhaps pick some of them off.
Well, if we dislike the druids that much, then we should actually aid the creature, should we not?
Dolwyn perks up at this. It somehow hasn't occurred to them to aid this creature, but I think some of Dolwyn's despair is being redirected towards anger to the killers of the deep apiarists. So aiding this creature sounds rather appealing.
I think Asher is still clutching to Nekkra, to Nekkra, and it's just. Still, I can't pretend to know everything that you folks are saying, but I'm right in hearing that we are not to engage combat with that.
Asher, I hear you, and I hear what you're implying, which is a split force strike team. You and I enter the grey and see if we can flank around.
Oh, I would most certainly be up for that. I think that would serve to use our myriad skill sets in their own way. Mr. Vitt, would you kindly show me how one does enter the grey? And meanwhile, the two of you can. Well, it sounds like you're meant to strike an accord with this creature. In that case, good luck to the rest of you. Mr. Vitt, if you will.
Absolutely. This will take a little time, so it may actually be handy that we have the other two forming perhaps some kind of distraction. Also, I suggest we begin by daubing ourselves with many, many handfuls of this horrific mud. I'm feeling rather visible. And Nekkra just flops forwards.
Yeah.
Roll.
That seems like a wise choice to make. Yes.
Yes, and Asher will follow Nekkra's lead. a bit more hesitantly, but seems he doesn't want to fight this thing. For anyone who's watching and confused as to why this is happening, one of Nekra's beats is to flee from combat or a similarly dangerous situation, or hide until it all blows over. So we're gonna help him fulfill that beat. So entering the grave does take a while to prepare. So why don't we
So-
move to Lynesse and Dolwyn with their plan?
And I quickly check what's our reason in terms of our contract with Asher for being here? Are we trying to get, I can't remember if we're trying to get past here or if there's something
We're trying to
within
get
here.
no, we're trying to get past here. We're looking for
Okay.
his sister Iona, who is with
Yeah.
the witches in the Hollows, which is this is simply a waypoint,
Yeah, this is just something. Yeah.
unavoidable waypoints on the way there.
Yeah, I will
Got
say
it.
that you'll probably get to Halo next session. I'll just say that straight up. But yeah,
So very well. I'm going to try to communicate with this thing.
Hmm.
And I think I indicate that I'm putting my skills at your disposal, because you're
I'll-
clearly the most
Yes, I
suited
think I'll
here.
need it.
What does this look like, Lynesse?
The I'm going to use the knack that I got from the mushrooms to sing a song of the heart.
Okay.
It has a beat like a pulse, and the music like the sound of rushing water, which is the heart's melody.
Okay.
And
Good.
I am going to sing, oh, oh creature, if you are of the heart, or allied with it, I see common purpose with you in against your enemy. And would join in order to remove this obstacle.
Okay. Let's see. Let's make that roll. It sounds like a compel.
I don't have compel,
Yeah.
but I do have wild and I have mastery.
Yes, so that's 3 dice. Dolwyn, you can help if you have a relevant skill or domain. This is, sadly though, this is a wild place.
Would discern help?
I have neither a relevant skill nor domain.
Yeah, yeah, it wouldn't be discern. Because you're trying to talk to it. You're not trying to like learn anything else from it. So I think Dolwyn, you're kind of like witness to this. Just make sure nothing bad happens. Check to see how the druids are doing. Maybe we'll get to that if you want to do that. But yeah, okay.
Okay.
Talking to
here
the
we go.
creature. 3d10.
Oh, it's not right. Okay.
Ooh.
What did I roll? Oh, that was a terrible roll.
Wow, that's a bad roll. So you rolled a 3 as your highest.
I
So
did.
on a 3, jeez, I've never seen this happen to Lynesse. It means maybe you're attacking the bad rolls, and Nekkra will skate through fine. We see them roll. Okay, so on the 3, on the 2 to 5, you fail and take stress. Whew. You try to sing to this creature, and it's so hard to get through because it's flickering and it's like shifting throughout all these like different forms. You can, I think that you sing and it answers back, but the song is so jagged. It's so, the melody just doesn't make sense for a normal throat, so to speak. It is just ragged and wrong. And but I will say that like when you hear it sing back to you, as if like it's not like trying to attack you or anything, it's just singing back in response, and it's so hard to make sense of what it's saying. It's 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 just ragged, but you can tell that there's intent. Like it's singing it's trying to tell you something, but you don't have the language or necessarily the physiology to understand it. And when it can tell that you can't like understand it, the song and you can feel it, the song strikes a bitter tone, um as if to say, you seek the heart, but you're not of it yet, is what it's saying. It's like, I'm next level, in my
Yeah.
understanding of the heart. So I would like for you to take, let's see, let me look at the stats of this thing. Beautiful. You're gonna take stress to echo. So I think you're gonna roll me a d8.
Okay. And what tier are we at, by the way?
Tier 1.
Okay.
Redcap Grove's at tier 1.
All right.
Yes.
The D8. I rolled a 2.
2. Okay, and you have protection
So
1.
I have
So
1 protection, so I take a point of stress.
yes. So you're probably not going to get hit by fallout, because I do have to roll every time you get
Yes.
hit by stress. So, and it only hits when it's like let's see, let me double check. Yeah, if it's less than the stress. Oh, is it more than the stress? So if I roll 1, you will take minor fallout, but it's not gonna happen. I rolled a 4. So how do you like respond to like this song?
I have a pang of sadness at my failure to understand the heart's vibrations. Since this is what I have always desired, and I am striving so hard to be one with the heart, and this is a reminder that I still have a great ways to go.
Yeah, I think in response, kind of like this, the centipede creature will carefully move. It looks like it's moving out of the mud, but you can actually see it's actually just elongating, and it starts to like crawl up the front of the cathedral, and it's like limbs are like poking through the windows, and then you can see like the top of it, it's starting to like split in two, and the other side starts to look towards like your direction, um, and the creature knows now of your presence, and it's like regarding you, um, and has clearly regarded at least one of you as like lesser. I want to know what Dolwyn wants to do before we go to the gray. Oh, we'll see if we can go into the gray. Dolwyn, how are you
And
feeling?
of course, I tell Dolwyn what I have, what has happened. It has sung back, but on a plane that I cannot yet comprehend. And this makes me sad.
Hmm.
I understand well the feeling of being finding yourself disconnected from that which you thought you were connected to. And maybe we can indicate our intent more directly. And I'm looking at what this creature is doing and looking specifically for anything that either of us can help it with, kind of like to show it rather than tell it that we mean to aid it by aiding it.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I think there's nothing you can see here at the moment, and because I can't think of anything at the moment, so I'm gonna
Well,
ask
it's
you to
attacking the
temporarily.
cathedral.
Well, yeah, it's attacking the cathedral, but like how else you can help it? That sounds like a discern.
Yeah.
So it's a discern wild. You don't have wild, but I will say if a fellow party member, if a player has player character has a relevant skill or domain, they can assist. They would just be like subject to any consequences. How would you be like looking through?
I
Go
am
ahead.
going to take this opportunity, which is probably not the best idea from a purely kind of metagaming perspective, but I want to use the move to use unorthodox methods. I am, instead of rolling to resolve this, I am stating that because my blending together of method and madness, I am stating that my result is a 6. I succeed but take stress.
Hell yeah. What does this look like? What when you're like discerning? Do you use your bees? Do you like just see anything? Do you like what does it look when you blend method and madness?
Ooh, I think it looks if you've ever seen a kind of old style electromechanical computer with lots of gears and shifting kind of registers and push rods, then it kind of looks like that, but organic in terms of the bees. It's clear that I'm kind of allowing the bees to take over both my thinking and my senses in a way that's very kind of obvious externally. There's kind of like much more kind of purposeful action kind of like all around me, with kind of bees forming patterns and passing information between themselves.
Great, lovely. Okay, so you rolled a 6. So or at least yeah, you have discerned. So I think yeah, you form a pattern, you look at the bees and you spot a corresponding pattern from within the cathedral. And I think because your attention has been on the centipede for creature for so long, and because it's almost like projecting this like reality shifting aura, so it's hard to tell. But you are of the hive, you're looking for the hive. So you notice where the hive is. That's how you found that corpse with all the buzzing, and that's when you kind of you kind of pierce through what this creature is like projecting, and you will start to almost hear a sympathetic kind of like buzzing from within the cathedral. And and you specifically, Dolwyn, can tell that whoever's inside the cathedral, they carry the hive within them. There's someone there in the cathedral who is much like you, an
Really?
apurist. Yeah, and I think, okay, here's how you take the stress. You form this pattern and you send out these bees, and you hear in a very clear voice the centipede just screech, "Hive!" And the splitting notion that it's making starts to get like more frantic, and the part of it that's splitting off is looking towards your direction, specifically at you, Dolwyn. So all right, let's see. You know what, take some stress up to fortune, which is all about luck or lack thereof. I'm gonna roll me a d6. So apologies, but things just got a little bit more complicated.
It's great.
What'd you roll?
If I unmute myself, that is a 6.
Oh, oh bother. Yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna roll this d12. Again, for those who are just watching this, whenever someone rolls stress, I roll d12. For fallout, if I roll under the stress, you get hit by fallout, which is like a condition. Hence why you got hex eye. Hence, Dones in despair. Ooh, okay, there we go. Roll a 4. So, don't worry, it's only minor fallout because you have. What's your stress total? It's 6, right?
The stress total is 6.
Okay, cool.
My entirety of stress is from that roll.
Okay. Well, that's good because minor fallout is not the worst, clearly. So, and it's fortune, so it's all about, your luck and whatnot. Okay. Whew. Oh, that's amazing. These are some amazing fallouts. Okay, I'm gonna hit you with a nice fallout. It's called foreboding. Something bad is about to happen. GM, hint at an ominous future event, which is always great. I think, Dolwyn, you see those corpses that are like on the centipede's feet. You almost kind of blink and you see like they're all staring at you. They're still all clearly like dead, but they seem to have like shifted their gaze to look at you, Dolwyn. So that's a hint. Mark foreboding, that can be upgraded unless you remove it. So just put down foreboding. I'll put the text. That, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Is there a mechanical effect to foreboding?
Yeah, it basically just mean that you have that fallout. It can be upgraded to a much tougher fallout called crisis.
So yeah, no, it's right. It's just a very bad feeling right now.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll tell right now, when you upgrade to crisis above, but now the danger actually occurs. So that's great. So while you have that, I can upgrade it basically, unless you get rid of him. Good luck figuring that out.
And when you take fallout, you remove stress. Do you remove all stress?
Yes. Yeah, you remove all your stress.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So there are other ways to remove stress. Fallout is probably like the easiest, but also not the best.
The most. What happened? What did you see?
There is someone else of the hive in another deep apurist inside, and this creature seeks that deep apurist, and I fear that that creature also means us harm. Everything here seems to mean harm to the hive.
Well, it would not listen to my song, and it is after you and yours. And so that, for me, has simplified the decision. We need to kill it.
Okay.
So
if it's okay, before we cut to what you're doing, I want to see how Nekkra does with
Yes.
how Nekra's doing, entering the gray. And then, since we've been here for like an hour, we'll take a break after that, and then we'll get to putting this plan in motion. This beautiful, horrible plan. Nekkra, how are you doing?
Yeah, so just I think sort of chanting in a muttering kind of way and trying to get this going on. So it's sorry, I looked this up already. It's what religion, delve plus religion, I
Yes.
think it was. Yeah.
Yes.
So I've got the delve, but not the religion. So that's two
Two.
d10s.
You do also have that unorthodox methods core ability where you can just declare the success, but like as a mixed success, so you take stress.
That is true. I think I will go ahead and roll this one
Okay.
for the for the suspense of it all.
Okay. Cool. Asher is trying to follow your chanting. He's doing his best. Oh, bless him. So yeah, 2d10.
Sorry, trying to get them to roll. There we go.
All right. Oh, okay. Rolled 2 5s. That is a failure.
Okay.
You're one off. 6 above.
The best
is a
failure, but
success.
still.
Yeah, the best failure, but still. At least you didn't roll a 1. Yeah, just for those watching,
True,
the success is like 6 above. So okay, tell me, what does it look like when you enter the gray? Tell me what it looks like, and then I'll tell you what happens.
So I think normally when I enter the grey, there is the sort of vertigo shot combined with a sudden fade to sepia as the world around is sort of slowly meltingly replaced by its grey correlative, equivalent. So normally this happens in a moment, as in a kind of, a space flowing out from me and kind of flowing around anyone who is joined with me in the ritual. But I'm not sure what that looks like when it doesn't work so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna chalk it up to you being under duress.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it. Normally, entering the grey, I think, is a very slow, very deliberate, quite dangerous act that I undertake quite carefully. I'm not normally trying to flee a centipede monster.
Oh yeah. So, I think for a moment you are standing in that sepia toned like other world that is the gray, which can be described as, which, if I remember correctly, the book kind of describes as like this could be like a strange, weird alternate version of it, of the place you're in right now. So, but with some advantages, like maybe the door is unlocked, or that tower you have to climb. Well, it's just a hut now. That's kind of like, that's the advantage of entering the gray. Yeah, you stand in the sepia tone, like kind of like difference of Redcap Grove for a moment, but your hex eye kind of like messes with it, and suddenly it's almost as if like an entire different afterlife wrenches at you and Asher, and it's like you're being pulled by the stomach into a different like afterlife, and you are standing in this beautiful lush forest, this like pastoral, like Arcadian kind of like forest. There's a sun above you. It's actually, no, it's not sun, it's a moon. It's nighttime. It's this lovely pale yellow moon, and it's beautiful. And Asher is like looking around, muddy and confused. Did it work? Did it work?
In short, no.
Oh.
But we're not where we were, so in a sense, yes.
Okay. Okay. I'll chalk that up as a success then, Mr. Vitt. Where are we?
Do I see any sort of indications around me that we are in some kind of equivalent plane, like any kind of cathedral-like thing ahead of me? Does this seem to be a similar place, or am I somewhere just totally different?
I I think if you squint the trees in front of you, because you're kind of like in a clearing, the trees almost kind of form the shape of a cathedral. So it's kind of like an equivalent thing. But yeah, it's a different kind of like afterlife. This forest feels vast and teeming, because the next thing you hear is a long keening howl, and then a corresponding chorus of long keening howls. So we're gonna leave you at that for a moment. We're gonna take a break, at least for us. For everyone who's watching, you're just gonna go straight through the break. But let's come back at let's say 5 to the hour and 55 past. So we'll take a break.
Right.
We'll come back and see how you all get on with this. Jeez, Redcap Grove is a lot. BRB. Okay, let's stick for a moment with Nekkra and Asher in this weird fetid forest. Because I want to give you like a moment to like try something while you're here, or at least do something. So yeah, howling in the distance. You're obviously not in the gray. And Asher is just like looking at you as if like, all right, what do we do?
Okay, stay quiet. The good news is we're still covered with mud. It's quite dark. Just hit the ground and let's just start crawling to where the cathedral should be, and maybe we'll come back. Just shh.
Okay, all right. And he like takes a flying leap forward, and lands smack on the ground and just starts crawling. He's quite panicked. What do? Do you follow suit, or
I grab his ankle, grab his other ankle, crawl my way on top of him, and then just lean down very close to his ear and just go, crawl quietly. Then roll off to the side and continue a more measured pace.
Okay, cool. This is a roll. Yeah. So it sounds like you're trying to sneak.
Yes, I think that would be fair to say.
Yes. Was there anything I forgot to do? Oh yeah, I forgot to inflict stress on you. Did I?
No, yes, you're right.
Yes. Oh, okay. Here we go.
Gleeful.
Sorry. No, it won't be. It's not lethal. The lethality of
Gleeful. I said.
Oh, gleeful. Okay.
Gleeful.
It could be
Sorry.
both things.
Yeah. The lethality of the stress depends on how much stress you have, or the lethality of the fallout depends on the stress you have. So I'm gonna do that quite quickly. Let's go with echo, because it feels like the heart interfered with your transference. So roll me a d6. For those who are watching, the lethality of how much stress kind of depends on the situation. That's my discretion. It could be a d4, a d6, or a d8. Certain places have a default stress. So, how much do you roll?
One.
One.
And I currently have, I always have one echo protection.
Hey, so you don't get any stress. So this is old hat to you, apparently. I also have to
transient headache.
It's apparently my eternal spirit has been warped and torn by my experiences. So, the not quite real doesn't bother me that much.
Well, different heavens are real to some people. To enough people. I still have to roll for fallout. You do have 2 supply stress, I see there.
Yes, from I think the end of last session for some reason. I can't quite remember why, but yes.
Yes, I think I tried to get rid of one of your items. Let's roll to see if you get hit by fallout. Nope, that is a 3, so you're fine. So let's do this roll. You two crawling, try to be still.
Cool. I'm guessing this is not a cursed or desolate domain.
No, sadly, you're kind of in the one afterlife you don't want to be. Hence why the failure. This is a wild domain.
Cool. Then we are going to go with just the pure dumb luck.
Yeah.
In fact, I
Is
think
this the
this. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, is this the moment? Is this the moment?
I think this is when my unorthodox methods are going to come to pass.
Well, you could say this is fairly unorthodox-ish, or
Describe it. No, I want.
I was just trying to think how one sneaks in an unorthodox manner.
Screams. Look over there.
I think I do have within my pouch of peculiar sort of science come demon trafficky trinkets, a sort of tube that aids with the throwing of voices, which I would like to just pull a piece of grass from this strangely fecund landscape and sort of put it up across the nozzle and sort of blow a strange whistle through it, which I hope will sound like some peculiar animal cry coming from somewhere far away.
all right. Well, that's a success because you've declared it so. You're in unorthodox methods. There will be some stress, but it will work. I think. Your cry is answered in the distance, and you will feel some thumping footsteps. And I think there's like a moment when like a gigantic thing just like makes footfall next to the two of you. Asher kind of like whimpers as quietly as you can, but this football just keeps going. This big, and it's making this keening, high-pitched noise. It's far too high-pitched for something this big. You expect something like something with bass, but like instead it keens as it follows the cry you just made, and it like just shifts through. And Asher is like, this is does it normally go like this, Mr. Vitt?
I don't think there's any such thing as normal where we are. It goes like this if we stay alive, and then even then, it doesn't always go that way, in my experience. Just keep going.
Okay. So I think you will make it to where the cathedral norm is, but I think we'll leave the roll to see if you get out there for the moment, as the two of you bond over your near-death experience. Well, you've had as near a death experience as you have as one can, I suppose.
he's and Nekkra has more near death experience than anybody I know.
Okay, so hold on. I just realized because I've been looking for a stat block for quite some time and I couldn't find it in the. And I just realized where would it be. Anyway, that's GM stuff. Anyway, let's cut back to some kind of reality. So let's. Okay, I found it. All right, to Dolwyn and Lynesse, this centipede creature is like splitting off. It's still kind of like crawling over the cathedral, but it's clearly splitting off, and the other bit that's splitting off is looking towards your direction. Lynesse, you wanted to do a thing?
I think yes, I'm want to get to a good vantage point to kill it. I don't know if this is a heartsblood creature. I believe this to be a heartsblood creature, and so I think it's my duty to kill it. But all the more because it's threatening my companion.
Mm-hmm. Let me double check the definition for heartsblood creatures.
So
Okay, cool. All right.
I have,
Yeah,
I have, I have
I'd say
two,
yeah.
I have two reasons either of them will do. If it turns out to be a heartsblood creature, then all the more. You can tell me whether it is or not. So
It
whether
is. Yeah, I
something
think by your definition and by the definition of the book, it
Okay.
is a heartsblood creature.
Okay.
You'll see why I have to double check. Well, we'll see if you'll see why I have to double check. But yeah, so I think like the tricky part is like, what kind of vantage point were you looking for? Is it like up above or anything in particular? Oh, I'm in the wrong tab.
You said that it was having to pick its way through the mud.
Hmm.
So the vantage point I'm trying to get is one where it has trouble coming at us quickly.
Okay. Yeah,
because we have ranged weapons,
Mhm.
and it seems to not have that. And so we want, so the worse the landscape is for it to close the distance to us, the more advantage we have.
Okay. I think it'll be tricky because the landscape gently slopes up towards the cathedral. So if you want to get to you, you'll just have to like slide through the mud. But you'll have to find purchase in the mud. But there are like several mushroom caps. They're like tree size, let's say. And you can clamber up. It's like a platformer video game. There's like enough mushroom steps climbing up where you can get to like a tall one.
If
To
you
get
get
to
the
like
right one, you become very large.
well, you ate yeah, I guess you didn't eat the right
Yes.
one.
No.
You ate a few, but not the right one. So yeah, you can absolutely get like a vantage point, so you can take advantage. I will say you can only use mastery once. Like the limit of dice you can roll is 4. You have
Understood.
a ton of knacks for taking care of this creature, but you really only benefit from one of them.
Well, there's really only one that applies here, because it's which is the kill.
Yeah. Well,
So.
yeah. Oh, I meant like next. Also, I would say like the advantage you found, the mud, like Dolwyn, because you told that to them, can use that
Yes.
as well, so they can gain mastery.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, you can clamber up. I think you have enough time while the centipede creature is splitting off. It is halfway there. You see it's like getting longer. You can see like it's trying to elongate itself to get to you, but its attention is mostly on Dolwyn. So Lynesse, you've got like basically a free shot right
I
now.
I will take it.
Okay. Using your big badass extinction bow, I see.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's build this roll. 1 for luck. Draw a kill. Wild. And one of your myriad
And the
knacks.
neck. Well, just
Yeah.
the one neck, the kill heartsblood creatures.
Yeah. So I will say though, this has a difficulty of risky. So what that means is like your highest die is gonna be like discounted. You still roll all 4,
Gotcha.
but your highest die is gonna be like it's gone.
Shit.
Oh, oh, buddy.
Boy, these the dice are frozen today.
Yeah, they're cruel today. Jesus. Will we get to Hallow? Do we have to arrange more sessions? Oh no, we have to play more Heart. How cruel! What a life we've been trapped to. Okay, all right. So I think you
So that's a fail and take stress.
Yes, the failure takes stress. Here's how the failure happens. You're kind of like perched up. You're about to take a shot when the very last moment you see that where you thought its end was. You can see the like where it should be, like the tail end. I don't know what the tail end of a centipede is. It's pointing downwards and it's kind of like wriggling, and you can see like it's actually wriggling through the ground. And right then, that's when its tail end bursts out of the ground, and like smashes against like the mushroom cap that you're on, and like it'll be it'll like smash against you. Let me see. It's these things weapons. Oh, that's horrible. Roll me a d8. This is gonna be to your blood.
Okay.
You roll high on stress die. That's what you get.
I have a 1, and because we're at tier 1, I have a 1.
Cool.
Protection. So it I dodge its flail.
Yeah. So yeah. So you're doing great.
Doing
I think,
great.
yeah,
Well, not
yeah.
doing terribly, I think is
Yeah.
a better description.
Yeah. And I think you'll see that like once you see like the tails come out, it bends to look at you, and you can see like in the flickering nonsense of it, it's actually another head. So somehow this thing has like it's keeps growing exponentially. It's kind of disgusting. I think you still you still hear some gunfire as from the cathedral, as like the centipede is almost kind of like moving away off it to concentrate on you, and someone from the cathedral shouts, "Hello!" um is anyone there? Either Dolwyn or Lynesse can. I go to Dolwyn. What do you do at this moment?
So I don't respond to the presumed druid shouting hello. But I want to get some of this creature's attention away from us. So I'm picking a location, whatever location on this creature that I can see that is kind of far from where the druids are attacking it and far from where we are. So I'm trying to kind of make it think there's another threat. And I'm going to use Annihilation with Blossom within the Skull for a ranged attack.
Beautiful. What does this look like? Ranged annihilation.
So I think I just stare intensely at the point on the creature that I'm aiming for, and the buzzing that always surrounds me just for a couple of seconds gets much louder. And if it's successful, what you would see is the creature's flesh at that point kind of falls apart to dust, leaving a honeycomb pattern behind. It's as if kind of bees have instantaneously been through there and carved out a honeycomb into this creature's flesh.
Nice.
Beautiful. Okay, that's all disgusting and lovely. Okay, so let's build that roll. D10 for luck. This is a kill move. Again, a friend can help if they have kill. Just saying.
Otherwise, it's
yeah.
a
Yes.
1d10 unless okay.
Well,
Okay.
I will help, and also because this is your first roll, you can use the terrain advantage from my hunter's eye to get mass.
Yes. Yes.
So
So that would be
I will lend
3.
that. So you'll have 3 d10s, but you'll have to discard the
Highest roll.
top one. So
Yeah.
don't blow it.
Okay. Let's have a look at this. Oh.
Ooh, God.
That's another 5.
Oh man, the dice are cruel today. This is. I'm sorry. Wow. God, God. I run a lot of Forge in the Dark, and the joke is that like when I run Forge in the Dark, everyone just rolls a 6. Last time I rolled 1, everyone rolled crits 4 times in a row. It was amazing. I'm just saying that now to apologize for what's about to happen. For all these, this is so much. Okay. So yeah. You shoot these bees. You're trying to create like a quick honeycomb. What you probably don't expect is like the centipede to like lightning quick jump in and eat the bees. Just foop, 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 and crunch, 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 munch. It's kind of demoralizing. So I'm gonna make you roll some mind stress.
So basically just giving it a snack.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Meat, my favorite.
Yeah. So yes. God. So yeah, this is gonna be some mind stress. Poor Dolwyn. Well, poor everyone, honestly. Don't worry, we'll get through this. We'll figure our way out. This is gonna be another D8. I'm gonna say. This is like a big. Look, I had so many skills. It's just the dice are being so much.
That is a 5.
Cool. All right. So I'm gonna try to roll again. I'm gonna roll to see if you get hit with Fallout. Yeah, that's a 4. So, okay. Your third Fallout. I'll have to create more rows. It's a beat though. All right, you hit a beat. It's only minor. So.
How many minor fallouts makes a major fallout?
Yeah. Well, God, this is so much.
Or does it not work that way?
Okay, this.
No, it doesn't work that way, right? It's only a major fallout if you get a high roll.
Let's say you're shaken. This is the name of the fallout, and I'll describe it. And if you don't want it, you can say no. But like, so shaken means you panic and fall back on your primitive impulses. The GM chooses one: fight, attack the problem in an attempt to destroy it; flight, get away from the problem by any means necessary; or freeze, do not act, putting yourself in danger. And at the end of the situation, you remove this fallout. I think what I kind of want Dolwyn to do is to go to flight, and I think I wanted to make a run for the cathedral for Redcap Grove, because that's where the other Hive person is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that sounds great. I am just running full pelt, probably slipping in the mud, and then getting back up and running and falling again and running, and just trying to get to this cathedral.
Cool. We'll see how well you do later. Let's cut back to the forest. I think, Nekkra, you and Asher, after some careful, uncomfortably close crawling, you've made it to like where you think the cathedral is, because the trees have shaped themselves in such a way that like a building could be here. And again, the moon's forest is kind of like on you, as if almost kind of like remind you of like you made a promise, you agreed to a thing. But you can't tell if this is the moon that the Church of the Moon Beneath worships, because they worship a moon beneath. You don't know where the hell you are, especially in terms of, or reality, in terms of reality. You don't know where you are in relation to reality, but you think you're where the cathedral is.
I would ideally like to try and resituate myself for some kind of crossing back through if I can, and what I would like to try and do is see if, with my kind of largely disadvantageous hex eye going on, if there is still kind of any kind of overlapping sense of perception of realities, to see if I can somehow sense through the ether any kind of presences, particularly looking for any dent in reality that might be made by this other hive controller, hoping it might stand out as something very unheart within the heart realm.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you that because and not use up your hex eye because that's good fictional positioning because exiting the okay wait actually you're not in the gray. I just realized because usually if you're in the gray and you exit it, it's pretty simple. I just remembered you're not in the gray. Yes. Okay. I will use up that up. I think then your hex eye focuses, and I think you will find yourself looking. You're not there, but you will see almost kind of like around you flickering as you concentrate the inside of Redcap Grove, and um, it's kind of dire in there. There are like some druids, but they look like tired and worn out, like they've just been through a siege. Um, and they look like they're on like their last legs. There's some folks who are packing. They look like they're moving. There you can see that like in the back there are like some folks. I'm gonna say right now like the inside of the cathedral. It's like just one big room. Like they've knocked down the walls. Normally there's like stalls there where they sell their drugs. There's like just heaps of crap all over the place. So it's like a small marketplace that is just looks like a war zone because these druids who were kind of like let me read the description of these druids from Redcap Grove there. In my mind, they're just kind of like shitty druids. It's kind of like the perception, but yeah, they look like they're moving off. Like you're kind of getting what you wanted in terms of at least making them shove off. There's like a few, and you can see like there's this a few rather grumpy like druids. Let me just I'm looking at the wrong thing because in the description of Redcap Grove. Um, um, they are like they're like folks who are like wearing like mushroom skin like cloaks and whatnot, big bushy beards, that kind of hide their face. So like three, they're like arguing with this like person who you can sense the unheart kind of like almost emanating from, and this rather tall lady who is like you can't sense what they're seeing because you're only just looking because it's a hex eye, but you can see that like she's trying to like tell them that they need to go. There's no point in fighting for this patch of land, or at least that's what they're arguing, and she's gesticulating quite clearly, and the camera will notice that her hands are heavily scarred, that they're quite like they look like they've been through hell, um, as this lady like is talking to the druids, but you can sense that like, and I think you even see this like because you've been hanging out with Dolwyn so much, you can sense when the bees are abuzz about a certain person, and there is like a funk around Redcap Grove where like there's lots of weird insects, but like the way that like how precise her like movements are, and you can sense certain like tiny insects kind of clinging to her. She is like she's like a beacon for you to get out of there. uh, since that's what you were looking for.
Yes. I would like to, I guess, begin to try and drop back through the grey into the place I should be, into the heart.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So this is gonna be an endure wild check. You have endure.
Haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
So that's 2 dice. Do you have anything that could help here? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay.
Give this a go.
Good luck. Hey, it's a 6.
It's a 6.
Yeah.
Same
This,
failure.
Good enough.
yeah. So what does this look like when you literally fall through realities to end up where you were before?
I think the reason this doesn't take as long as entering the grey normally does is that my death stayed in the grey and has been desperately sort of trying to pull me back into the grey. And so it is almost a sense of kind of just going with it. We're just going with what my death wants and just being pulled back into that spectral realm and just sort of slingshotted through it into the heart.
Hell yeah. It's not the best experience. It's not the smoothest. It really isn't. So I'm gonna make you roll a d6 for some echo stress. You know, it's not the worst in the world.
Okay. 4 echo stress.
So you get hit.
And I
with-
have 1 protection, so I'll mark off 3.
That should, yeah. Ooh, nice. Oh wow, I didn't know that turns red when it reaches 5. That's interesting. Shout outs to Darren who made this.
Gotta be a
sheet.
good sign.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see what happens. Let's roll. I fall out. Ooh, that's a 1. God. Okay. All right. Don't worry about it.
I'm just going to go ahead and add a 1 temporary mind protection. Because
Okay.
why
Hell
not?
yeah.
As my move.
Okay, cool. I think I'm gonna hit you with conduit. Your best efforts to keep the unreal energies of the heart at bay are futile. Your body is a crucible for strangeness. You cannot use echo protection.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's ongoing. So I should mark out which ones are ongoing, which ones aren't. Shaken is immediate in the sense of like it's gonna go away after the situation. Everything else I think is ongoing. Yeah, okay. So basically what that means is that it's gonna stick to you unless you like get rid of it. To get rid of it, you gotta talk to people in landmarks. Like Redcap Grove is a landmark. Like unlike the delves, the journeys, those landmarks stay. So you could theoretically, if we were in a longer campaign, you can go back to Redcap Grove if there are any ones left. So yeah, you and Asher, poor Asher, get yanked through, and you just land on a heap inside Redcap Grove, which is no less muddy than was on the outside. So, well, you're already very muddy, I guess. And let me just take a drink. You land, and the 3 druids all gonna like yelp. It's gonna like land, and they pull out their guns and they're pointed at you. And the lady just kind of like looks quite calm and serene, but then looks at you with just kind of like this very analytical kind of assessing what you are, and just says in like a rather hoarse voice, "What do we have here? Speak before my friends decide to render you from being unable to speak."
Good. Bee lady, yes. Just what I was after. There's a bee person just outside. Another one. They could really use a friend right now. And what's more, they're also fighting the hideous monster. So I'm thinking maybe a pronged attack. Thinking maybe you from this side, them from that side. Bee swarm. You're all about the swarms, aren't you, you people?
Can I maybe say that this is the point at which Dolwyn appears running, screaming, kind of just completely out of control?
I will say, I was gonna make you roll to get there because the centipede is in between you and the cathedral, but you will hear I think Nekkra, you will hear Dolwyn screaming outside.
That's him. That's them. That's just what I'm talking about.
Bee lady, who you've graciously dubbed Bee Lady, kind of like just regards you like stone cold, and then like you can see like a couple of bees just kind of like just kind of crawl like up her neck, and she's just like notice, and the but the screaming draws like the three druids um back to like the windows to see like if they can help. Instead like um she kind of like um kneels kind of like down as you're in the ground, kind of like looks at you dead in the eye, Nekkra. So you are traveling with one of my kin.
Yes, no.
I, I think like she reaches like a hand, and you can see like the scarring is like extensive on her like digits. As of late, my kin has been targeted for death. You may very well be, as you claim, but that is no comfort to us lately. So I think like as like a finger touches your like forehead. I would say she wears like these like long sleeves. She's wearing like this nice dress and like um what Lynesse described. But as soon as like her touch kind of like is on your forehead, bees erupt from her sleeve to kind of like crawl around you, kind of like on like your head, and they're kind of like patting the pitter patter of many feet and the buzzing of wings. Asher kind of like yells and just kind of like draws his gun and then drops it because he draws too hard, because of course. He chops it and he fumbles in the ground, as you feel like the bees almost kind of like probing your mind, Nekkra. And we'll come to you in a moment. But what is there anything you want to say or do?
I would just finally just once again grab Asher's ankle and just pull, so that Asher also goes down and just go, stay still.
Okay. Let's come to Lynesse. Lynesse, you're kind of on your own. Dolwyn has taken off running towards the cathedral. You've still got this horrible centipede creature who is looks like they're more concerned with targeting Dolwyn. Let's say that. It kind of like smashed through you. Kind of nearly took away your advantage, but you're still kind of like on the clear. You're still fine. You didn't take any stress. You're still good.
I am undaunted, and I cannot retire without a sincere attempt to take this thing down, or at least hurt it. So I will try again.
All right, let's do this.
I'll pull my bow and aim for one of its heads.
I'm rooting for you. The dice aren't, but I am. Okay, so
that's a success.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Well, it's still risky, but it's a success. You rolled a 6.
Yes.
Okay, so let me look at your resistance. What do I want to hit this time? Okay, so there are 3 heads. I want you to tell me which you're aiming. There are like 2 heads. One that's kind of like pawing over like the roof of the cathedral, which is like this big mushroom. So which I should explain then when Nekkra ended up inside. There's like a big mushroom that's kind of like providing this big roof. There's one head that's kind of like the farthest away from Lynesse. There's the second head that's split away and it's kind of like looking at Dolwyn. And there's the third head that burst through the ground to smack you off your mushroom cap. Which head are you aiming at?
I'm aiming at the one that's looking at Dolwyn.
Oh yeah. Roll me your weapons and damage, which is, I think it's a D10.
Yeah. Yes, I rolled it. It's a 10.
Oh my god. Okay.
Dead center.
Heck yeah. Okay. All right. You're well used to this. You see the stats. Okay, cool. It has a resistance of 1, so you are gonna inflict 9 damage to its 9 damage, 9 stress to it. Basically, how like combat works is like
Yes.
what things have resistance, like yourselves, except it has a number, and you just reduce it by any means. Like talking to it might have worked. Like
Yes.
there's, but okay,
It might have, but it didn't.
it didn't. Yeah. So, yeah, right. I think it slams. I think Dolwyn, I don't know if you noticed this because you're very panicky. I will say this will really help your roll when you get there. But like, yeah, big arrow slams and it like smashes the head, pins it against the cathedral. If that's a good, if that's an okay detail to add, Lynesse.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's like wriggling against like the arrow, and you can tell that like it really hurt this like this thing, and I think as you're kind of like doing, I think because you chose to aim for the one with Dolwyn, the head closest to you, um which is the one that smacked you off the mushroom cap, it does kind of like manage to like elongate itself around you. And I think being close to it, the proximity of its reality warping, you get that song again. That despairing, quite above you kind of like harmony. So roll me d8 echo stress. This thing has default d8 damage, so but yeah, roll me a d8 for, and this is gonna hit your echo resistance. 6. Okay.
I got a 6, so that's 5
Mm-hmm.
stress.
Mm-hmm. So add that to your current echo stress. Okay, so roll. That's an 11, so you're fine for now. I think what you'll notice when the thing starts to sing to you again, it's trying to dumb down its melody so you can understand it. I think you will get like a snatch of Hive, protect, why, in between the incomprehensible singing. Um, so that's something to ponder. Um, okay. Is there like a final one more response you want to do before we cut to Dolwyn, Lynesse, to this song?
No, I just fit another arrow to the bow saying, I love you.
Lovely. Okay, Dolwyn, you're not doing so great, are you? The screaming, you're screaming. Okay, beautiful. Fortunately, the
Panic
head
and despair.
and despair. Yeah.
Panic, despair, and foreboding.
Oh, it's
It's 2021.
God, the catharsis. Okay, gonna make a run for it. Fortunately, I'm gonna say it would have been risky, but thanks to Lynesse's like beautiful arrow work, the risk difficulty is gone. Unfortunately, this would have been this seems like an endure, because you're trying to run, and you don't have any of those skills or domains, do you? Does anyone want to
Nope.
help, or is in a position to help? Do they have wild or endure? Lynesse.
I do have endure and might potentially be in a position to help now, maybe?
Ooh, okay. How do you help? I guess you were kind of helping by telling the bee lady that
Yes.
That would be it, yes.
yes. I would say like by helping you will figure out how, but you will also be hit by if there's any like failure or stress. You'll both be hit by it. Okay, so you've got an extra die, Dolwyn. 2d10.
It's an 8.
Hey! Oh, hell yeah. Okay. All right, cool. Beautiful. Do you know what really helps Dolwyn? What I believe that you've always thought is a great help to anything in the world, bees. So at the screaming or crying, I think you barely notice this Nekkra because the bees are on your head. But when the bees burst out from her sleeve, a chunk of them did fly out and flew through the windows. And Dolwyn, you see the bees, and it's almost like you're locking into a pattern bigger than yourself. And they're like directing you. They're doing like the biblical, I guess, the bee equivalent of telling you to fear not. Except these are eldritch angels, but they're horrible bees. And one of the druids like managed like to open the door, like come in, and and yeah, so when you get through, and you can get rid of Shaken now, because standing in front of you is, I guess I want to know, when was the last time you talked to a fellow deep apiarist?
Ooh, I think it's got to be when I gained my perfect structure, when I was kind of transformed in the in War of the Great Hives. I think that there's a group of apiarists that tend those, but I've been kind of, I think that even among apiarists, my belief that I think there's a general belief in the greatest hive somewhere, but the belief that it is beneath the heart is considered rather fringe. Like, as in, maybe I'm the only one who believes that.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit kind of outside kind of the general kind of community of deep apiarists.
Yeah. Okay.
Behavior. Sorry.
Gosh. We're getting close to the our second hour, so we'll probably take our second break. But I think when you enter and you see like the bees leading you, and you see the woman, can we say you recognize this woman?
Yes.
That you're previously acquainted. Maybe someone
Yes.
who really actually. I want to say there's no consequences, but I do want you to roll a d10 just to see how much she agreed or disagreed with your with your with your beliefs. If the higher the number, the more she agreed.
That's an 8.
Ooh,
She was
quite receptive.
yeah.
So I think like so when you come in, you will see Nekkra on their belly. I assume you didn't really get up, Nekkra, or did you? Okay. I mean, you can tell me if you stood up. Okay, all right. Oh yeah, you. Nekkra and
Sorry, yeah, just
Asher.
letting their bees do their thing. Yeah.
Yeah, letting the bees do their thing. And this lady who, if you want, you can give her a name, Dolwyn. But if not, I can give them a name.
I don't. A name isn't coming to me, so if you have a name ready to go, then go for it.
I do not, so I'm just going to click through this name generator. Lynesse, if you have a name, since you were the first who saw this woman, I'm perfectly fine with that. But if not, I'm going to give them the name. I'm just trying to find like a proper. Sorry, I'm not liking these names. I know what. Let's give them a flower name. Let's call them Dahlia. So yeah, I think like Dahlia just kind of like sees you, and there's a look of recognition, recognition, and for someone who looks like they look quite, they look analytical and put together, as you saw in Nekkra. I think she does like she just breaks out in a smile, and you can tell it's almost like the first smile she's had in a while, because the things have been so tense and rough. And she just says, I was hoping it'd be you, Dolwyn.
Dahlia, what are you doing here?
For the moment, surviving.
That seems to be the our common pursuit. I look around at Nekkra and mine's gone blank of our
Asher.
employer, Asher. Look around at Nekkra and Asher, and kind of like glance back towards Lynesse. It's kind of like, yeah, it's surviving all round. Although Lynesse seems to be doing rather well as usual.
We're going to stand up now.
Of course. And Dahlia's demeanor like changes, and the bees get off your head, and she suddenly like looks way more warmer. She looks more like what Lynesse saw, which obviously she didn't share that vision, but like more, just had more like delicate, a bit more vulnerable. She doesn't have to hide as much. So let's take a break here. Let's come back again at 55 past the hour. Then we'll kind of like do like a quick sprint to like finish off the session, and then situate you all and take care of this centipede thing, and yeah, and we'll see where we get. So we'll be back at 55 past, so 5 to the 5 till the top of the hour. BRB.
Cool.
Okay, so just to recap where we are, Dolwyn and Nekkra, you're in Redcap Grove, talking to Dahlia. Lynesse, you're quite outside. I'm gonna say you're just about ready to put down this centipede. Your bow is ridiculous.
It's a major. It is a major. My major ability.
That is true. Check something. Yes. Yeah. So you said when we last saw you, were just knocking another shot, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think you see bees start to like kind of like pour out of like the cathedral. And I think mechanically what's that gonna do, because I want to this is all part of the fiction and I want to support that. I think what's gonna do, because they start kind of pour out of the cathedral and they kind of like start messing with the centipede, is, or at least like kind of like coating around it, and you can see like the centipede's fighting back, like this burst of like unreality, or not, a different kind of unreality, a heart like unreality burst from it, and the bees are kind of blown back, but it's very much like distracted. I think mechanically what's going to do is, actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna be honest. This thing's gonna stay risky, because this thing is still coiled around, nearly coiling around you. So this is kind of like a 1 in a million shot. But you have 4 dice, so
Okay. So here it is.
7.
7.
Whew. Okay. Ooh. Here. Ooh. Okay. So I'm gonna take your shot. You just shoot. Are you shooting at anything in the centipede's particular, or are you just gonna shoot it?
I'll shoot the head that's closest to me.
Okay. Roll me a d10, because
6.
6. All right. It is down. Ooh, but you're gonna get hit by stress. Okay. Here's kind of like what happens when you shoot it through like this head. Your shot slams against like the centipede, pierces through, and when it shoots back out, there's a body that's like pierced through it, hanging through it, as it like slams against one of the mushrooms. It's a human body, a human shaped body. And you can see that, and folks, stop me if this is getting a bit gross, and you can see that like the human body had like its mouth, their mouth open, and coming out of it is a stream of like that weird flickering unreality, that's connected to the centipede. And I think, Lynesse, you can tell that like that thing came out of this person's like mouth and was still kind of like coming out. And this person, who I think is a human, in terms of the 4 different affinities folks would have. Like this is a human. They've got these like weird kind of like skin like sort of cloak on, and various different like accoutrements. It's like they're packed for an expedition. They look like they came for like a war. They got like a bandolier, and this big coke. They've got this like wild frizzy kind of hair, and but when they slam against like the mushroom cap, they see you, Lynesse, and they kind of like point towards you, and they just kind of like hiss out. They try to hiss out, but they can't obviously because it's a big old centipede thing coming out of their mouth. They hiss out, "Enemy, you are an enemy." Sorry, I choked myself there. And I think the centipede shivers and kind of like starts shaking as it, almost like a slingshot effect, it shoots back into this person's mouth. It's such a violent kind of like force that like, I'll just say right here because I don't want to go into too much detail, but it's such a violent force that there won't be much left of that body when the centipede shoots back. So there you go. Yeah. Lynesse, I think as it shoots back, you get like the dying sense of the dying harmony, and it's been dumbed down enough so you can hear the words, "Why do you fight for the hive? Why do you fight for our enemy? Why do you fight for unheart?"
I do not. I honor the heart by striving against it, by strengthening it, by giving its blood, the blood of its creatures, back to it. I give this kill to the heart, as with all of mine. And I will continue to do so. And if the heart desires me to do another thing, it will tell me. This I feel to be true.
I think the last line you hear is that we sing the heart's desire, we carry its blood within our hearts. You have taken one of us. You have taken a witch from us. And so we shall take you as well. Because I'll say right now, I think you can gain, what you can learn from that is that you have killed a witch.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say right now, there are different ways to interpret how to serve the heart. But yeah. Because you rolled a 7, I'm gonna hit you with mind stress, if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so D6 should be fine. You can say if you don't want to go in that direction, you can say I can change that. But in terms of killing a witch,
so I rolled 5. I have 1 protection, so I take 4. Mind stress.
Yes. Oh, yeah, mind stress.
Yes.
Oh, yes, yeah, you do because you're in that tier.
All right. So at this point, I'm likely to get fallout. Go ahead and roll.
Okay. Well, I could roll an 11 or a 12. No, I rolled a 3.
Okay, that's good. That's minor fallout.
Is it minor fallout? Because let me double check.
Isn't it?
No, 7 to 12 is major fallout.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So,
major fallout. Jesus. To mind as well.
so this is minor fallout, right?
No, no,
Or it's,
no.
or it's the amount of fault. It's the amount
the
of stress.
amount. It's amount of stress.
Oh, I thought it was the roll for some reason.
No. Oh, actually, let me double check. Because like. Oh yeah, no. You're right. I was wrong. This is on the roll. That's different from Spire, I guess. That's a neat difference. Okay, yes, it is minor. I apologize.
Yeah.
You are correct.
I had a significant risk of major fallout there, but didn't happen.
Yes, you did. Okay.
Oh, and I don't clear all stress. I just clear the mind stress. Got to put the echo stress back.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. What do I want to hit you with? I guess how are you feeling with that kind of interaction, and then I'll pick one of these.
In terms of the witch,
Yes.
I feel that it should if I would, it's the risk a witch takes when it mimics a heartsblood creature that it may be mistaken for one. And I regret it, but I do not see how I could have acted otherwise.
Okay. If it's okay, then I'm gonna hit you with the minor fallout clouded. Your mind starts to like just close itself off in like an attempt to protect itself, and sensations are just that bit dulled. You cannot gain extra dice from domains for the moment. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a curse.
Yeah. Sorry. I think I will have like a moment to see if you can remove some fallout, probably at the start of the next session, because we're just about to like wrap up. So I think we're just about to wrap up. Let's do like a moment in as everything kind of like settles. I think Dolwyn, Nekkra, since you were standing up, you can see this centipede thing, die at Lynnesse's hands and come back to and go back to the body and etc. And I think like Dahlia just says, I see, Dolwyn, you've gained some rather strong fellows, especially someone who can stand up to a witch like that.
Which
Yes.
we thought it was a creature.
In many respects, a witch can be a creature. It is one of the powers they've gained, taking on this disease in their heart, in their hearts, and turn themselves into monsters.
Would you say that witch, in their transformation into that thing, in any sense took on a hive of bodies? Or did it merely manifest corpses as part of its outer appearance? I'm fascinated, you see, in the distinction between the death of the individual and the death of the combination. The death of the cluster, the death of the hive.
she gives you a look, Dolwyn, as if like, as if to say, does he always talk like this?
Nekkra has what might be termed a bottomless intellectual curiosity. It's rather admirable if you can look beyond its strangeness.
Indeed.
Well, far of it for me to disparage an academic. It sounds like, but we have time to rest. But we will have to decamp soon. The witches of Hallow are determined and vicious. They'll surely come back. I'm sure we'll have time to look through the remains, pick the place clean, and I'll try to answer your questions. But first, let's bring your friend in.
I take a trophy.
Let's see. Let me look at. I'm gonna look at what a witch can start off as, because a witch is a class you can play. So I'm gonna see what did they start off, and you can take that off their person. Come on, page. Let's just load. Take with you a. Ooh, I think still left on their person is it's a beautiful silk scarf, stained with blood, but you can tell it would have adorned some kind of nobility in some other far-flung place. It looks far too rich to be. Well, no. I say it looks far too rich. It looks like it started off as too rich, but you can tell it's been stitched with some care using materials found here in the heart. And it is going to be the D6 resource. It's a haven kind of resource. It's beautiful. Well, for a certain definition of beauty.
I'm going to offer a prayer to the heart. For striving against one of its defenders. And acknowledgement of their their power and such as a worthy opponent. This is different from the prayer that I would give for a heartsblood creature. This isn't. And then I come in, and I stop dead when I see the woman, the woman of the bees. Her name is.
Yeah, you don't know her name.
No, yes.
I think she does. I think she gives you like a look to like of consideration, not like repulsion, even though he's of bees and whatnot, and she is of unheart, but she does give you like a approving kind of look, as if to say like any friend of Dolwyn is gonna be a friend of mine. But I think since we're nearing close to time, we'll find time in the next session to like have like after things have calmed down. But I just want like a quick shot of each of your characters as you kind of like rest and regroup for a moment here in Redcap Grove. There's 3 druids and Dahlia, and relative silence for the moment. Just the dripping of mud and blood, I guess. And actually, I want to ask before we get in these moments, Nekkra, did we agree on how you would tell the moon, the Church of the Moon Beneath, how to tell of your success?
No, that was a definite flaw in my plan. However, sorry.
I'm perfectly willing to like retcon something just so we can clear that beat as well. I think the plan was like either kill or just get rid of the druids.
Yeah.
And thankfully someone did it for you, because they are gonna leave. Or maybe you'll have to convince these druids. Maybe that's more fun. To do that next session. Because these were the 3 druids who were like, no, we're not staying here. We're not leaving here. Yeah.
I'm also, I mean, I guess I could just totally turn my back on the Church of the Moon Beneath and gain favor with this faction instead. They seem to have stuff going on.
The deep apiarists. We can say
Yeah.
that. Yeah. We can go with that. It doesn't say the Church of the Moon Beneath. I guess it would have been easier if Gnark was still around.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we can pivot to that. I think definitely Dahlia holds Dolwyn in quite some regard. 8 out of 10 regard, literally. So I think she will like entreat your questions. She was just confused at first, but I think we will get like a shot of maybe her like actually will answer your questions. Because if someone who is like curious enough to kind of like follow Dolwyn's belief of the Hive is down the bottom of the heart, I think she'll be curiously minded. It sounds like. So she will like answer questions. And one more thing, she will say at some point that she doesn't intend to stay here, and she does intend to go further down. If you would have her, like, and she'll come with you. And Asher is just like, yeah, sure, but we're not going to pay her. But I'm not going to pay her. That's just like framing for the next session. That's okay, folks. But yeah, is there any like final shots you want to see of these folks in Redcap Grove before we kind of like close off for the night?
So I think we certainly see Dolwyn at some point doing a round of kind of like very stately and formal introductions, kind of completely out of character with the place that we're in.
Yeah, the 3 druids are named Nod, Grod, and Cod. Strangely enough, they're not brothers. What about Lynesse?
Lynesse says gravely to the company, I have made a worthy enemy. Let us hope that I have not imperiled our original purpose in coming here.
I think like Asher's just like, well, they'll certainly learn to fear you. Gives you like a big pat on the shoulder. It's like, well, I'm sure they'll be quaking in their boots, knowing that you are coming for them.
Lynesse looks at him with her coal black eyes until he stops talking.
Lynesse, every foe you've met, you have bested. What enemy have you made that we must now fear?
Stay in one area with me, please. Number 2, do not take aggro from me.
Yes.
Thanks.
It's true, but Asher's sister Iona is among the witches of the Hollows, and this was one of them.
Complex indeed, run politics in the heart.
Well, she had the semblance of a heart. She had the semblance of a heart's beast, and so I treated her as one. That is a risk she took, but it doesn't mean that her fellows will not hate me for it.
Well, the better to step on and save my sister then, or at least see how she's doing. I would at least very much like to leave this place. Well, I would very much like to leave this place with her, but I would very much like to know.
I have done them a favor. I have weeded out one of theirs that could not stand up. The heart's defenders will eventually be the stronger for it, but they won't see it that way at first.
I think like Dai will say like, and you've done us a favor as well by saving our lives. As far as
I would not abandon my companions. I came down. That is the reason. That is the reason that I protected you.
Nevertheless,
And
we're
you
very
have done
grateful.
nothing against the heart. Nor is it clear to me that you could do something against the heart unless there is something happening that I don't understand. But we have something to talk about, you and I say to Dahlia. And I look forward to doing so.
Likewise. Yeah. Any more last shots, or I think we're gonna wrap it there. Oh,
I think the final shot we might see of Nekkra would just be just sort of a zoomed out silent one of Nekkra animatedly making sketches of this deceased witch beast, just sort of asking questions of Dahlia, and with tiny clumps of mud dropping from his fur. And then as the sort of camera moves around behind Dahlia briefly, comes out the other side, and you see the skeletal knoll lovingly combing the Nekra's fur.
beautiful.
Charming.
God, these people are fucked up. All right. So, the last thing we'll do is check your beats, see if you hit any of them, and take if you have, take according advance, either minor or major. So I'll let you those, and then next week we'll choose new beats, or next time. It may be next week. We'll have to talk about that. But that's not for anyone who's watching. That's something they don't need to know. So, with that said, thank y'all so much. It's great to be back in Heart.
Yes.
Or a horrible, disgusting place. Horrible, beautiful, disgusting place. I'm going to stop recording. To anyone who's watching and listening, thank you all for doing so. If you want to check out Heart, there'll be a link below in the description. If you want to check out the Gauntlet, link below in the description as always. Until then, bye bye, YouTube and podcatcher of choice. Bye bye.